Hello?
Welcome.
This is the two cities.
Oh, I'm so excited.
There's an episode of The Twilight Zone called The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. In the episode, the neighbors on a small street begin to suspect that one of them is an intruder or monster. Soon, they begin to attack each other, tearing each other's home apart one by one. It's what we do, because when we're scared, we revert to our animal instinct. However, despite going at each other's throats, they never realized that the monsters were always there, watching, at a distance. My name is Ellie, and welcome to another Tales of Two Cities mini-episode. In VIllisca, Iowa, on the evening of June 9th, 1912, and the morning that followed, 6 members of the Moore family and 2 house guests were brutally murdered. Each suffered an axe wound to the head. The town began to panic, buying locks and weapons, and forming groups to be together as they slept. Soon, after the fear, they went after each other. Police and private detectives from all the other counties came in, hoping to be the ones that cracked the case. Newspaper reporters swarmed in only to fill the streets with hundreds of interviews. And to this day, the murders remain unsolved. So what fully happened? And who are these people? After church, Lena and Ina Stillinger planned on having dinner with their grandmother, but they were invited by Catherine Moore to spend the night at her house. They agreed. Around 8 p.m., the Moore family and the Stillinger children were seen at the Presbyterian Church in VIllisca, Iowa, for the Children's Day program. It ended at 9:30, so it's presumed that the Moore family and the Stillinger sisters walked home to the Moore residence around 9:45 to 10. The following morning, Mary Peckham, the neighbor, noticed that there wasn't any activity in the Moore house despite it being 7 a.m. Between 7 and 8 a.m., Mary Peckham walked over to the house and knocked on the door to see if anyone was home. When no one answered, she tried to open the house, only to find that it was locked from the inside. She called the father, Josiah's brother, Ross Moore, and he came over. Ross tried looking through the bedroom window, shouted, and knocked on the door. Since no one answered, he found the keys and opened the house. If there was anyone in the house, Ross alerted them that he was there. Once he opened the bedroom door, he saw 2 bodies on the bed and dark stains on the sheets. He ran to Mrs. Peckham and told her to tell the sheriff. Those 2 bodies, the Stillinger sisters, aged 12. The rest of the bodies were found upstairs by the city marshal, Hank Horton. Once the murders were discovered, the town blew up. As neighbors and townspeople grew more and more curious, they crowded the house hoping to see anything dark. They did so by walking through the crime scene. Because of this, the cops lost any control of the crime scene, and the National Guard weren't able to do their jobs. The only known facts are this. Number 1, 8 people were hacked to death with an axe. They were all asleep at the time of their murders. Number 2, doctors believe the time of death was right after midnight. Number 3, all the curtains were drawn except 2 because those windows did not have curtains. Those windows, however, were covered with clothing belonging to the Moores. Number 4, after they were killed, all the victims' faces were covered with a cloth. Number 5, 2 lamps were found in front of the beds of the Stillinger sisters and Mr. and Mrs. Moore. The chimneys were off. Number 6, an axe was found in the room of the Stillinger girls, and it looks like it had been attempted to be wiped clean. It belonged to the father, Josiah Moore. Number 7, the ceilings had gouge marks in it from when the axe was swung. Number 8, a piece of keychain was found in the downstairs bedroom. Number 9, a plate of uneaten food as well as a pan of bloody water was found in the kitchen. Number 10, all of the doors were locked. Number 11, the Stillinger sisters were found downstairs. It is suggested that Lena Stillinger was still awake or woke up at the time of her death. Number 12, bacon was found near the icebox, probably connected to the uneaten plate. There are a couple of suspects believed to have been the perpetrators of the murders. Many historians believe that Frank F. Jones, a VIllisca resident and an Iowan state senator, was responsible for those brutal deaths. Others insist that Reverend George Kelly was the culprit. Some believe that it is still a nobody. Josiah Moore worked for the senator Frank F. Jones and the Jones store for several years until he opened his own company in 1908. Jones was furious at Moore, and there was also a rumor that Moore had an affair with Jones's daughter-in-law, Donna. Even the police openly accused Jones and his son of hiring William Mansfield to kill Moore. He was never arrested. William Blackie Mansfield was the prime suspect of the Burns Detective Agency of Kansas City. It is believed that Jones had hired Mansfield to kill Moore, but because of his cocaine addiction and serial killer tendency, he killed the rest of the family as well. It is believed that Mansfield killed his own wife, infant child, father, and mother-in-law in Blue Island, Illinois, 2 years after VIllisca. He was also arrested in 1916 for another investigation in Kansas. Payroll records provided an alibi, so he was released due to the lack of evidence. Another suspect was Reverend George Kelly. In 1917, Kelly was arrested for the murder of one of the VIllisca victims. People said that the way he acted during the Children's Day celebration made him an easy suspect. Henry Moore, no relation to the Moore family, is the last subject I'll mention because, in truth, this topic could go on forever. Moore was actually believed to be a serial killer living in the Iowa area during the time of the murder, and also for killing a family in Colorado the exact same way. In 1984, Darwin and Martha Lynn bought the home and restored it to its former glory. It is now a museum filled with the ghosts and haunts that we all know today. Many paranormal investigators have come seeking the proofs they believe to be true. Some have even stayed in the building. For example, a Des Moines disc jockey had noted to awake in the house to the sound of children's voices when no children were present. While others have been successful with mysterious audio, photos, and video that they yearn for, some tours have ended because of the falling items, strange sounds, and children's laughter. While the paranormal stories might not be the main focus of the story, the horrors make it supernatural enough. So, the question here is, how does this connect to our previous episodes? Well, it doesn't. This is my last mini episode for the Halloween special, and I thought about doing something that is utterly horrifying. There are rumors of ghosts, but the true horror is the idea that even in your sleep, you're never safe. Yes, things go bump in the night and can be alarming, but the biggest fear of all is the idea that everything you trust and rely on is a lie. Monsters can be our own mental creation, but knowing that you're never safe, no matter where you are, that is our reality. And in all, honestly, that is truly frightening. The song is The Dread by Kevin Macleod. He's licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. You can find his work on creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0. You can find out more about us and our other episodes on our Facebook page, website, Twitter, Instagram, and our email at talesoftheNumber2CitiesPodcast@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. It really helps us a lot. And also, thanks.